Warning, this podcast, website, and associated social media accounts are intended for audiences of legal drinking age. We do not advocate overconsumption or the abuse of alcohol. Never drink and drive, drink responsibly. And please remember to always take what we say with a grain of salt. After all, we are just some dudes with some brews.
Got my boy Robert Veach with us. Thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Rob, I wanted to ask you, man. You got to tell us, how did you get into craft beer?
So, long story. Basically, I'll try to keep it somewhat sweet. I can kind of go off on a tangent. But,
okay. Well, I'll try to rein you in.
Yeah. So he'll start giving you a fishing thing like this.
So I was born in Texas, was raised in Texas. When I was 18, I moved to Wisconsin. So, got a friend there that I was a huge Coors Light guy. That was, coming out of high school, and stuff. And Coors Light, that's where it was at, right? So, I get up there and met my, pretty much my best friend, Rob. And Rob introduced me to craft beers. So...
cool.
A lot of them, especially like stouts and stuff, man, I couldn't get them down at all.
Oh yeah.
Like I literally could not finish a stout. There was a Bigfoot barley wine, which was, you don't ever start anybody out with a Bigfoot barley wine. He thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, no.
But he's like, you can't dump it because of course that's, you can't dump a beer. So I would take the Bigfoot barley wine and put Skittles in it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it helped.
Okay.
I could choke it down. But anyways, hanging out with him.
Nevada, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
existed.
Dude, that thing that's it's and so we would go out. I hung out with him. He my good old buddy pal, so we'd hit the clubs every weekend
Right.
and stuff, and he'd try to introduce me to all these different craft beers. And then I think the very first one that kind of was like sparked my interest was New Glarus Spotted Cow. So
You've told me about this. I've never heard of it until then.
That's Spotted Cow is essentially the go-to social drink, in Wisconsin. So
Really? It's brewed in Wisconsin?
yes,
It's like it's not a Bach, but I would compare it to like the popularity of like Shiner here.
It is
Texas,
a
right?
farmhouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
But could you compare it to like the popularity of like a Shiner here in Texas?
no,
Like most people have got this on tap.
tell you the truth, to try a farmhouse to that one, it's difficult.
Okay.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I've had a ton of beers, so no, it's my favorite. I've cloned it. It's my go-to. So that got me into craft drinking, and I've stuck with it since. And then kind of just expanded. It started, and then slowly Rob would help me come up with to drink some IPAs and some darker ones, porters and stuff. And next thing you know, man, I'll drink beers from all over the world.
Right.
I love them all.
Right.
I think my only weakness, if I had to pick one, would probably be, and I'm not saying I don't dislike them, I just don't like them as much, is probably a Scottish ale.
Okay.
Some
Yeah, I haven't had
they're
enough
kind
of
of,
them.
I kind of got to be in the mood for them, but yeah.
I've come to find I don't like a red ale all that much.
Okay.
So it's weird that one of the first times we did a
Right.
red ale, and I was
Right.
like, yeah, not a fan. And it's not that I don't know that we brewed it bad. It just
It was probably bad.
I don't like a red ale.
Well, that's too bad.
I mean,
But so
It
I
is
can
what
thank
it
Rob.
is.
I can thank Rob for getting me into craft brews.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Nice.
Rob.
And
And then
did you start brewing up there, or did you not brew till you came to Texas?
I started it once again. So me and Rob would go out and stuff, and next thing you know, Rob brews his own beer, and he's like, "Man, how cool is it to have?" He had his own tap already and stuff, and I was like, "Let's give it a shot." We tried it, great, and so I always kind of followed his footsteps, and he's gonna brew a beer. Well, damn it, I'm gonna brew a beer too. So I got
Yeah.
into it. Coming up, I want to say it was my first beer I drank. It was November of 2002, I believe. So
Dang, so
Man, you remember
20 years.
specifics.
yeah,
20
well,
years.
and it's easier to remember. I do have a picture of me drinking my first
Yeah.
homebrew.
Oh, cool.
But the
That is
date
cool.
is cut off on the very end of it. You know, on the old school, the Sony cameras and
Oh,
stuff.
where it would
Oh,
like
yeah.
timestamp it?
Yeah,
kinda?
yeah. So it's cut off, but it was also right at the time my son was born, and he was born in 2003. So I think it was a hair before that. Could be maybe a hair afterwards. That's kind of
Right.
debatable. I don't
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
but those brain cells are gone.
So when you started home brewing, were you doing like extract or like
Partial mash. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you just doing that on the stove?
Well, so Laura, my wife, she, I did my first one, started it on a stove. I did not get to continue on the stove because she could not stand the
smell.
the smell.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love the
I'm
smell.
like, yeah, you're kidding me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not the same woman these days, but I still also don't brew
Hey,
inside.
technically,
so.
it's the same woman. She just doesn't mind the smell.
Yeah. So from that point on, it was out in the garage, but definitely hard to brew all year round up there, especially if you're doing it in garage. You definitely don't have a problem chilling your beer. 'Cause you
Right.
just stick it in a
I
snowbank
was gonna
when
say,
it's
just put it in the snow.
if it's 10, 20 below outside. It doesn't take long to cool it down. Downside is all the steam is going up against my garage door and stuff, and it's creating icicles and
Oh,
that
that's
kind
cool.
of thing. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as enjoyable to brew outside up there in the winter, but here it's all year round, man. It's awesome. The only issue you have here is cooling your beer down without a glycol system or something.
Right.
Using the groundwater, so I had to come up. When we moved down here, I did my first batch down here, and I could not get that wort down. It was like, it wouldn't go below like 85 degrees. I'm like,
Yep.
man, you're kidding. I'm like, oh, and then it dawned on me, oh, Texas summers, the pipes aren't as deep, groundwater's hot,
Yeah.
So then I came up with a cooler, basically a cooler, and took 40 feet of copper pipe and took a keg and rolled it up and made kind of a dual coil system with some quick connects on both ends, and dumped ice over those coils, hooked
Yeah.
my garden hose up to one side, and I got ice cold water coming out into my immersion chiller out the other end, and
Oh, nice.
I got
Yeah.
my beer down to temp in under 30 minutes. So
I
Nice.
just barely figured that out this year. How
Yeah,
to
that's always been
get
the struggle.
beer down to the right temperature, because
Mhm.
usually I was like, "It's as far as I can get it. I guess I'm gonna leave it."
yeah.
Mhm.
And then this year I bought an immersion pump, like a fountain, like what you would buy for like a fountain, and put that in a cooler of ice water.
Yeah.
Once the groundwater gets it down as low as it'll go,
We
finish it off with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's worked. It's worked well for the last 2 or 3 brews.
Yep.
So I
That's
wish I would have
awesome.
learned that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You get, it's just those things you got to think of, so-
Right.
was
Yeah.
like-
Because then I'm pitching yeast and it's dying
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's too hot.
Yep.
But I mean, it is what it is. So what made you want to transition from home brewing to owning a homebrew store?
So, I mean, I've always wanted to. It's one of those things where, like, you work for somebody else for so long, you go do something, you try to get a career going, and there's things that you dislike, or you say, you know what, I could do this much better than they can,
Mhm.
and we just had a lovely wife of mine. She kind of felt the same way, she's super smart, can pretty much do anything. So it was just one of those things where the housing market was perfect, shooting way up in price. We've always wanted to kind of downsize as Tucker got older, and it just kind of came to be. She lost her job, and it just everything just kind of fell in place. It was one of those things where, like, you do something that if you do something that you're passionate about and you love, then you're really not working. And if you can, you get to meet people and you can help others out and you can try to create popularity in brewing, and make it a hobby, and it can be enjoyable for anybody, whether you're doing a beer, wine, cider, kombucha, I mean anything. So even sodas, so we just kind of decided, it's like, hey, this is a perfect time to do that. Let's do it.
So when did y'all do it? Last year?
We opened our store in this last March. So we've only been open,
This year?
I don't know, was it 5 months or so?
Yep.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yep. We planned it. We started planning it. We got our lease done in January. We kind of went and waited till the first of the year, and just makes everything easier in tax rates and things like that or whatever.
Yeah.
But we kind of just started planning it, and that's what we're doing it.
Awesome.
No, it seems to have worked out well, and I like. It's funny when I go in there and I talk to Laura and see how she gets excited about stuff like the sodas or like making kombucha, or she even I think
food
y'all
kits
got
and
like
stuff.
food kits, for like sauerkraut or kimchi and stuff. And
Cheese,
I was like, all right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, cheese kits too. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's stuff that I would have
yeah.
never even thought about doing at home. I only thought about beer and wine.
Yeah. I mean, and same here, I mean, she's just one of those persons, like, we don't have to, I mean, there's a lot of people that would love to make, cheese goes great with beer, right? So,
Yeah.
especially up north, so, let's do cheese too, I mean,
Right.
there are some of the homebrew shops up north too, they actually have a cheese section, but, I'm not so sure that they have soda sections or,
Right.
cider sections or something, so.
Oh, and you do? You got soda sections?
Yeah, we have all that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all, you just I guess you call it brewed. You just made a soda, didn't you?
So my son Tucker loves cream soda, root beer,
Yeah.
and orange. So I had my a close friend of mine here just in the last 2 weeks did our cream soda kit, and he brought us a couple bottles, and I was like, holy crap, this is really, really good. And I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't even it had a little carbonation to it, but it was a little far off from carbonation, but even then it was like, holy crap, this is
Right.
really good. So so Sean cracked open a bottle for Tucker, and then Tucker was like, saw angels floating around, and he was like, okay, let's make it, so
Nice.
So I got him set up. I took a keg and we made 4 gallons, and I got him to help me build a picnic tap so I could dedicate a keg and a picnic tap just for sodas, to keep that away from the beer lines and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 gallons on tap sitting in the kegerator at home now.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Do you ever sell any, or you thought about selling it in the shop?
No, so
Ooh, soda wouldn't be near as hard as selling beer, I would think.
yeah, so no, the arrangement that we have now with management, we don't sell, like, I guess we probably could do sodas, but like we're nothing alcoholic.
Yeah.
We will give samples of like kombucha, because I mean, or even soda.
Yeah.
We're happy to give out samples if we've got it on hand, and hand that out. Just have somebody try it and see if they like it, and they could go grab a kit then. But we can do that, but not the alcoholic side of things.
You can't give out samples of alcohol either?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a good sales tactic.
That's
Right.
so
Yeah.
and the management that we have out there they're really awesome. They're glad to help where they
Yeah.
can, any way that they can. So being the first time a lease,
Mhm.
and home brewing and things like that, they probably, they said they love to have us out there. We're kind of a fit in that area. So I think when lease comes around, they'll see that we're not just a bunch of drunks or not
Yeah.
causing trouble or anything like that.
Right. I get that.
We're just, we just want to help people with the hobby and stuff, and I think that we'll come to that discussion again. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I could totally see kegerator in the shop with, maybe the seasonal beer kit that I'll brew up and maybe even have a brew session at the store. They were going to let us do that, and things kind of fell through. But we could get them to allow us to do a brew session again.
Like
and,
to teach them like
a
workshop.
a hands-on
workshop,
workshop class, and we've got a lot of people that express interest for classes. We're just rolling out the web shop now.
Stop what you were doing and go to kettle2kegtexas.com now. The online store is live and they are ready to take your orders.
I'm kind of fine-tuning some small things there, but the web shop is live now, and I think once that's done here, I think we'll create a forum on the website as well as have one in the store that maybe reach out to those email addresses that we have and see if they've got interest in signing up for a class, so we can get an idea of what kind of space we need, accommodations and things like that. So that's totally in the works. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's so new right now that it's like, I'm sure you have tons of ideas, but you're like, we got to kind of become more established.
Absolutely.
And then you can start delivering on these ideas.
That's super important. I mean, the people that have came out of the woodwork, all the way even from South Dallas to near up by Oklahoma City and stuff, come in and they're just, oh my God, this is, super awesome. Totally glad you guys are here, and they're just excited. It's just crazy the amount of number that actually homebrew that are just in Grayson County and the surrounding areas. It's crazy.
The timing couldn't have worked out better for you when it comes to, I mean, as sad as it is seeing some of the other homebrew stores either shut down or go commercial only, it helps that you're the one that's available for people to go to. Not that you did that on purpose.
We were happy to pick up their slack.
Yeah, like their customers take over for them. But you also create your own recipe kits, don't you?
Absolutely. Yep. 5-gallon beer recipe kits. We can do clone kits. I can use software to create things and get it in the right style. Custom recipes. I had a customer here a couple of weeks ago came in, wanted to do a cereal beer, like a Fruity Pebbles or a Lucky Charms or something like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I know our buddy Jeremy, he's really good at that kind of thing. But I'm like, I personally haven't ever done one of those, but I mean, it really can't be that hard. So kind of did a little research here and there, and next thing you know, I've got a recipe for Fruity Pebble beer if he wants it, and so I'm just waiting for him to come back. And
nice.
Was it like a milkshake IPA or a cream ale?
More of a cream ale. Yeah. Do a cream ale, and you're actually using like 4 pounds of cereal, in a 5-gallon batch.
Yeah, I've seen that where they put cereal into the mash.
In the mash, and both even in almost like instead of doing a dry hopping, you dry cereal hop, cereal.
I just putting it into the mash, all the sugars that are going to come off the cereal makes me think that thing's going to be so hella sweet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess that's
But you can
point.
also read the box of cereal, if you want to calculate that and you're worried about your ABV levels and stuff, you can look how much sugar is in that cereal.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
Bring that part of
Use
your
some
recipe.
of that magic spoon.
You know exactly what your gravity is going to do, so...
I bet like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes would be a good one because it's kind of a subtle but still grainy type cereal.
Yeah.
If we could recreate that.
A lot of sugar.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it is. But I think not as sweet as the cereal, but it still keeps that like what is
it would
Frosted
be super.
Flakes?
I
What are
could
the
see
flakes,
something
like
being. Yeah, what
are they?
those
Cornflakes?
Corn. Yeah,
Corn
cornflakes.
flakes,
It'd be like
okay.
a cornflake flavored.
But they're like toasted, right? So
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, anybody can toast cornflakes, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is just to a lot of times just make it taste like that.
I think
and
so.
Sometimes the way around is
The corn flakes itself it's more of an adjunct, so you wouldn't be using that as like a main ingredient.
Oh,
So
okay.
You could certainly use it for some of the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But it would definitely need to be mixed with some other fermentables for sure.
Yeah, it's just sugar-coated cornflakes.
Sugar
That's what I thought.
coated. So it's just gonna be sugar. Just tastes like
Yeah,
sugar.
it's just pure sugar. It's all
Yeah,
it's
and the flakes itself. I mean, again, like the taste, you'll get some of the taste out of that. But I mean, the body of your beer and stuff, like what with the
Right.
corn and stuff, it would definitely help. But I would say you mix that, you could even do a cream ale or a wheat ale or something like
Right.
that, or a wheat beer.
Yeah.
One of the things that I will say that I have enjoyed most about you and your family and going and shopping at your store is how accommodating you guys are. If you don't have
Absolutely.
something in stock, you're going to do whatever you can to satisfy the customer and help us out. And I can't thank you enough for helping out with that kind of stuff. So yeah.
You're absolutely welcome. So one of the biggest thing, I have kind of a pet peeve for that kind of thing. So I've been, through my brewing years, I've been a lot of homebrew shops and stuff. And one thing that personally kind of would get my attention was, people, they have a recipe. They want to kind of stick to that recipe. They don't want a bunch of swap outs and substitutions,
Yeah.
So one of my biggest pet peeves was going into a homebrew shop and having most of my grain bill switched over to something that they didn't have, so that's one of the biggest things that we like to do is we try to keep that style of what you're doing with exactly the way you want it, so we've got grains from all over the world, so we try to, if you want to make an Oktoberfest, we've got the yeast as well as the grains from Germany, and Belgium or wherever
Right.
that whole region. So we try to stick to that.
Yeah.
And again, just like you said, we place orders typically every week with our suppliers, and if there's something that we don't have that you want, I can 99% can get it, then we're getting it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, that's the thing. Speaking of Oktoberfest, go ahead and crack another one
All
for us,
right.
Larry.
So this time let's go with the Peticolas.
Peticolas.
What was the last beer we had from Peticolas?
The bicycle pump.
Bicycle pump.
Just gotta
That
get me.
bicycle pump German. It was a German lager, German Pilsner, maybe.
You want a new one?
Sure.
Like one
Yes,
of your plain
absolutely.
ones? All right.
Yep.
And
I'll take this one too.
Okay. Good.
but no frill. It's not even just grains though, because I've needed like kegging or like kegerator equipment, and you've ordered me like random little parts.
Yeah. So the biggest
like, I
thing
mean,
is
random stuff that like.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got to have that stuff on hand. What's most inconvenient with brewing is when you've got a leak that you can't fix.
Yeah.
You can't lose a whole CO2 tank. So the gasket seals, repair kits and parts, and you do something crazy and break something, and it's going to
Right.
happen. We got a pretty huge selection of hardware.
No, you've been phenomenal. I've purchased all kinds of hardware, and like I said, the stuff you didn't have, you were like, cool. I'm sure somebody else will want it. Let's order a few of them.
Absolutely.
So-
Do you do services too? Like if somebody said bring something in, or do a house call, like, hey, I can't figure this out. Can you? Come
I
look
can.
at it?
Yeah, I can. One thing that we have done, beekeepers. There's several beekeepers. We've built custom kettles for a beekeeper. We've had one.
Wait, you've built what? I'm sorry.
A kettle,
Like for
like
honey.
a brewing kettle for honey. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so they can
like
pasteurize the honey or whatnot.
Yeah, so whether it's filtering or I'm not sure what that whole honey process is, but I worked with the customer.
Man.
Oh, break here. Nice and easy.
There
Okay.
we go. Dude, this
I
one looks
worked with
completely
a-
different, does it not?
It's darker.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
much darker. So kettles, whatever that honey process is she needed to do some filtering, so basically a kettle with a false bottom. The false bottom is right, at 700 microns typically. So 700 micron holes is good enough to filter out, the bee parts and
Yeah.
things like that, and the wax or whatever. But the other issue that she had is, well, a lot of kettles, will come with a 1/2-inch NPT port that you can screw a ball valve on or,
Oh, you
or
screw,
whatever.
like
right?
the
So
adapter on the bottom,
the
yeah.
second kettle she needed to maintain temperature in that kettle of about 95 degrees. I think that's kind of the helps the honey kind of liquefy a little bit so
Right.
it comes through. But also the port, a 1/2-inch port, wasn't big enough, so we put a 3/4-inch port on the bottom. We got rid of the 1/2-inch port and put a 3/4-inch port on there for her,
Nice.
and she says it's working immaculate.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
Yep. But yeah, everybody that comes into the store leaves with goodies, whether it's a koozie, bottle openers, whatever they want. It's certainly my business card. My business card's even got my personal number on it. I get calls even on a Sunday, the only day that we're off. I get a call and it's a customer that was just in, and they've got a question. Maybe they're second guessing themselves on the brewing process because they're just beginning to do it, or they're not sure what to do next, or whatever, or they're flustered, whatever. They give me a call, text, email, whatever their preferred method is, and I'm more than glad to talk to anybody at any time and give them the help that they
That's
need.
awesome.
That is invaluable, especially if you're in the middle of brewing and you forgot about something and you have a
Yeah.
question right then and there.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
get somebody to answer you, that is, like I said, invaluable.
Yep, I had a customer down in McKinney. He's an extremely busy guy with starting up his business and stuff, and he needed some equipment, and I needed I needed to run to Dallas like that morning, but so I thought ahead a little bit. I got a hold of him the night before, and I'm like, hey, I'll meet you on my way back. I'll bring this stuff to you.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
dang.
and so we
Nice.
met him. I met up with him for lunch, and we did our business right out in the parking lot there, so we wouldn't have to come to Sherman. So
Oh, man.
That's the fun thing about it is a community in general, like the business as a whole. It's always going to be small town stuff, and to what Joe alluded to earlier, there's not like a lot of places that do what you do. So you have the opportunity to not only win people over, but make it very personal, where they
Yes.
you're building relationships with people, so that that's just really cool.
the
Yeah,
people, the
it's
home
totally
brewers,
shocking.
right? So
Yeah,
I'm going to say this, like, you don't come across a home brewer that is going to be, I guess, how do I say this? 99% of us brewers, or a brewer that you will come across, isn't an asshole. They are down to earth, like
They're always
super
cool,
friendly.
nice,
They're
friendly.
extended family,
Yeah.
It's a brewing family.
Yeah.
The whole community, the whole brewing community is a family.
nice.
Yeah,
So
I
we
like
do
the
what
way
we
that you
can
say
to help
that,
each
yeah.
other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're serving the family.
So Robert, man, thanks for coming out, brother. I really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me, man. This is awesome.
If you guys, I don't even care if you're a home brewer or not. If you're interested, go check it out.
Yes.
Because you do a phenomenal job. And like I said, he'll teach you how to do it. And if he doesn't have what you want, he'll order it for you, which is what's even better. Like I said, the customer service has been the best. Definitely helps that it's convenient, but even if you were further away, the customer service would keep me coming back.
That's what we strive on, man.
So I definitely appreciate it. Got a few awesome designs. We even have all new pint glasses and stickers. You know you want one of those glasses. I mean, you already drink a beer while watching the show anyway, so you might as well support the show and put your beer in one of our glasses. The link is in the description, so hit that link and pick up something from us today. Make sure that you use the code DUDES10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. Again, that's DUDES, D-U-D-E-S 10, the number 10, 10, at checkout to receive 10% off of your order. Now, we appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of Dudes and Brews. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever platform you're on, we're on there. We have a YouTube channel, Dudes and Brews. We would love if you would subscribe there as well. If you are subscribed and you want to help us out just a little more, unsubscribe and resubscribe again. It sounds funny and stupid and kind of obnoxious, all of the subscribing and resubscribing and stuff, but it helps in these little algorithms games for like climbing the charts, because again, we are organic and we are where we are because of you guys.
Yeah, we really do appreciate your support. Shout us out. We really do love it when you guys interact with us, when you add us, mention us, put us on your stories, tag us, all that fun stuff, all the stuff the kids are doing. We like grabbing that stuff and we put it up for you guys. So we appreciate you so much. Keep having fun, drinking them brews, hanging with them dudes. Tune in next week for another episode of Dudes and Brews.